Adah Parris. She's a futurist. She's simply amazing. Adah, I think you're there and ready. Remember, you've got 99 seconds. And remember, everyone watching and listening, questions, the little Q&A icon on the bottom screen, click it, enter your questions. We'll pick some of the best. Adah, if you're ready.
Yes, I'm ready.
Over to you.
Hi, first slide, please. So, can I get the slides? Next slide, please. Okay, so this slide, this image is something called a chimampa. It's an ancient Mexican form of agriculture that uses small rectangles or blocks to create fertile patches of land on shallow lakes. It's a form of technology. Next slide, please. What has that got to do with this? Well, this is a starfish. It has no central brain, 5 legs that are interdependent. If one leg is lost, the other, it can regrow, or it can actually regrow a new starfish. What do those two things have in common? Next slide, please. The answer is decentralization. It's blockchain. And that's what we're looking at when we're starting to think about innovation, especially when we're looking at what's been happening now around COVID. That the connection for innovation is that we look for a decentralized system. We are looking at the idea that what's the intention of the technology? What's the value? The idea that innovation can come from anywhere. It doesn't have to be top down. It's actually what we're seeing now, especially in the COVID, in this whole pandemic, is that it can come from anywhere. It's decentralized. It's a bottom-up approach to innovation. We're seeing that technology is a tool. It's not the answer. It may not be the answer, but it may be a tool to help us get to where we want to be. The other question is why now? And then we start to look at how we scale. And so when we start to think about innovation, we can look at, and I've heard some of the other speakers talk about it today, we go back to looking at ancient wisdom, looking at old ideas, looking at natural systems, looking at, for the connection, what brings them all together. So it's ancient wisdom, new thinking for future innovations. Thank you.
Amazing. Incredible. I did not get to hold you off. Let's go to the question. Lots of questions coming in. First one from Julia Smith. She asks, as a futurist, is there any one thing you wish you could have predicted? Good question.
Oh, so I will start by saying that as the type of futurist that I am is, rather than trying to predict the future, I take a philosophical and anthropological look at it. So I look at how, I believe that technology is a tool, and that there are, our behavior around the use of tools, the use of technology has been the same across different areas. So we use tech to try and connect with ourselves, our environment, and with others. And so when it comes to, is there anything that I would have wished that I had created? I've not created, but I hope that I had seen this pattern earlier. It's taken 5 years of me mind mapping to get to this point of recognizing the pattern. And actually you can see that the pattern that I've just described to you replicates in algorithmic technology, in quantum physics and spirituality, in various worlds. And I just wish that for myself, I wish that I'd seen that sooner. But actually we're in the prime time now to see that this is actually what's happening around. It's how PPEs have been done. It's how people are starting to come together to try and find vaccines for the coronavirus. And so I just wish that maybe I'd seen it a bit sooner.
Excellent. Question here from Andy, who asks, do you think brands need a defined innovation budget to do innovation well?
I believe that innovation shouldn't be one person's job. I think that innovation is systemic. As humans, we're all problem solvers, and so innovation runs across the whole business. And so I think rather than having just one innovation budget, a bit like the idea of diversity, it shouldn't be just a diversity budget. It shouldn't just be an innovation budget. I think that there should be space for the ideas to bubble up from the surface, and those ideas, then you have a system or a framework in place to actually follow those. Because rather than thinking about, so when I spoke about this before, rather than thinking of it as a radical idea, it's an idea that I didn't know what the end point is and I decided to follow. And I think that's what, it's about how much risk are you willing to take and how much money are you prepared to put behind that to see where the journey goes. So process versus goal.
Perfect. There's quite a lot of comments and questions about blockchain. Some are quite rude. So let's pick one out. Darren asks, are there any industries or products you think are ripe for blockchain disruption that are not currently using it?
So I use blockchain as a metaphor, because I'm not going to, I can't go into the whole the mechanics of blockchain. But I think that if you take it from the basis that it's about decentralization, and it's about, the fact that ideas can come from anywhere and everything within that system has a value and can add value to the final point, then it should be right for anywhere.
Amazing. Adah, you're out of time. Thank you so much for taking part. Amazing, amazing feedback.
Thank you.